let me know that you're joining me, where you're here from, and then also leave any questions that you might have in the comments. Um, I had committed to going live on YouTube every Saturday until the end of 2024. So that's what I am doing. Um, I wanted to jump on here real quick and share why it's important for women over 40 to be on YouTube now. But, if you're starting in 2025 and you're planning out your goals and everything that you want to do in 2025, which hopefully it's growing your business, 10xing your business, creating new opportunities for your business, for your personal brand, for yourself, for your legacy, all the things. YouTube is the place that you need to be. And you might be thinking, okay, I'm already on all these other social media platforms. I don't have time for that. I know I've heard recently that people are putting video on the back burner because of how much time it takes to create and edit and publish the videos. Um, But first things first, YouTube is not a social media platform. It is a search engine. It is the second largest search engine in the world. It's owned by the first largest, which is Google. So you have to think of it from the perspective of when you create a video, you're getting double the exposure. So I'm sure that you've conducted a search at some point on Google, and at the top of those search results, you have seen a video. And then you might have even seen like the video clips underneath it and said, what is that and how did that work? And that is someone who has created chapters in their videos, optimized it, and you found it based on the keywords that you put in there. So it's an additional way to get exposure. If you've looked at Google search results before as well and paid attention to like the search results, and what you'll see at the top of those search results is video, if there's a video available. So there's extra benefits essentially by showing up on YouTube, and then the added benefits that you get in the Google search results as well. So YouTube, while it does take, I'm not going to like try to sugarcoat it, it does take longer to create videos than it does to type out a text post or post an image with a message. But when you create those videos, there's a longer lasting effect when it goes on to YouTube, whether it's a time sensitive or seasonal video, or if it's one that you create that can last forever, the evergreen videos. And my channel, you can go back and look at any of them. Actually, I've hidden one of them, but my videos have gotten like a lot of exposure from like 2 years ago. I'm still getting views, I'm still getting comments, I'm still getting engagement. And that's one of the values and one of the benefits that you can get from showing up on YouTube. And the reason why, somebody asked me this the other day, they said, why do you focus on women who are over 40? I'm like, well, one, I am. I'm over 40. And also our demographic, our target audience is highly underrepresented on YouTube. There's so much experience. There's so many stories. There's so much value. Hey there, thanks for joining. I see a couple people joining. Hey, let me know where you're joining from. I would love to know that. And say hi in the comments if you haven't already. But our demographic is so utilized. It's so underrepresented on YouTube, and it's our time. Like, we need to actually tap into the knowledge and the expertise that we have and share that with the people who really want it. They're probably already looking for it, but by not showing up and not creating videos on YouTube, then you are not. Hey there, thanks for joining. Are you? So if you are on YouTube, if you've been watching videos, if you've been creating videos, then you know the power and the value that having videos on YouTube can have for you and your business. So it can actually create bigger opportunities. If you've ever wanted to be a guest on a podcast, or if there's an opportunity that you want to speak at and you want to be on stage, those event hosts a lot of times are going to want to see a speaker reel, or they want to see other podcasts that you've been a guest on. And if you're just new to that, you may not have those yet, but you can always share with them and say, hey, I don't have those yet, but if you want to see what I'm like on video, or if you want to see the type of information I share and how I share it, then you can share the YouTube link with them, and it gives them like an extra information that you wouldn't have had, without that other experience. So it's giving them insight into who you are as an individual. It's helping them understand how you might be to present in front of their audience. And it also might give them insight as to whether or not you could be a panelist, or a guest on their podcast, whether it's a video or it's not. Because a lot of times it's all about the, thank you for subscribing, Angelina. I appreciate you. So it's, sometimes it's just about showing up and being present and helping your ideal customers get to know, like, and trust you. Video is the best way to do that. And when you're leveraging video on the platform that has the greatest reach as of today, then you're really stepping into the power of this platform. And so, really allowing it to do the work for you as well. So, when you post a video, as we all know, if you post something on social media, um, mostly on like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, like your posts, your videos, your reels, your carousels, all of the different video types, essentially they're gone within 24 hours, maybe 48. And if you have one that has some virality to it, then it's going to get a little bit longer time. You might have 7 days, possibly 14. But for the most part, it dies, right? The thing with being on YouTube is that it lives forever, and it can actually be seen by people a year from now, 2 years from now. I know when I've searched recently, and I've shared this in some of my other videos too, is that if you go into a search right now on any topic, you'll notice that there are, if it's something that was available, 10 years ago, if you're going to search for something, AI related, obviously it's not going to be, a 10-year-old video. But if you're going to search for something like gardening, like if you wanted to start your own homegrown garden and you do a search on that, you're going to see videos that are from 2 years ago, 11 years ago. Like there's videos on there that, and they still show up in the search results. And that's one of the most amazing features about being on YouTube. Now, of course, those apply to everybody, but for women in their 40s, 40s and older, think about how can I become over my fears from, if you're over 40, think about the work experience that you've had in your different jobs, or if you've had one job, all of the, the struggles, the successes, the experience, the presentations, the collaborations, the leadership, the promotions, the new projects. Like there's all these different things that you've experienced and can bring to the digital world for other people to see and get to know you and learn from you. And it's a great way to also expand your personal brand. People are looking for what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. There was someone who commented on one of my videos a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it might have been a live stream, and he asked about, I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was called, I can't remember. I actually talked about it in one of my videos too. And I was just like, in case you're wondering, if your niche is available or people are searching for it on YouTube, I showed it, I showed the like screenshot of the comment that he left on my video. And it was something I'd never heard of before, but I went ahead and did a real quick search on YouTube because I'm like, I'm just going to do a search because I'm confident that something's here. And sure enough, there were plenty of videos that were on YouTube that you could view. And some were current, some were from years ago. But the point being is that when you create a video, yes, it takes more time. Yes, it does take, more time planning or, calendar blocking. The benefits, though, are just so much greater than if you were to create a reel and put it on Instagram or Facebook. So that's the biggest thing, too, that when you're looking at your videos or just your overall content and how you're marketing your brand, is how do I want to leverage the amount of time that I'm investing in creating my content? Is it going to be something that you're going to spend, let's just say 10 hours, in a week or 2 weeks, however long it takes you, and for whatever time frame that you're planning out your content, that amount of time and what you're going to create, and then look at the shelf life of each of those pieces of content. Now, of course, stay present on all the platforms that you're on, But when you plan it out and you look at how can I incorporate video into what I'm already doing, then looking at how can I leverage video? How can I start with video? There's apps like Descript. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but Descript is a wonderful app, and it's kind of positioned as like a video editing, but it does so much. Like you can edit your videos with the text, like a Word document, and it edits your video that way. But you can export your video into an MP3. So if you have a podcast, now you've got a podcast episode. You can export the text file. So now you've got text that you can like format and make look great for your blog or for your social media posts. And then you can use clips of those to create images or audio clips. And there's different ways that you can leverage that. But if you start with video and you want to make sure that you're the face of your brand, um, what's it called again? Descript, Descript. It's typically like a video editing platform, but it just does so much more. It has a lot of AI capabilities built into it as well. So it's a time saver. It's a huge time saver. And especially when a lot of people I talk to, they don't want to do video editing, which I don't blame them. I don't want to do video editing. Is it like an AI? Um, it's got AI built into it, but it's got a lot of the video editing capabilities and features built into it as well. In fact, I'm going to be doing a walkthrough tutorial of Descript in the next week or two. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe, and then you'll be notified when I post that here, and then it'll be within the next 2 weeks. But it really helps with all of the things that we don't want to do. So I didn't want to edit my own videos at the beginning either, but it really is. And I've had many people tell me this, like when I've talked to them, they're just like, I don't want to edit my own videos. And I'm like, just edit a few videos. And the reason being is that when you walk through that process and you understand what's involved in the editing part of your production, then you can better plan for those videos. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to pick up my phone like right now and just record a video, and then you get to this point and you're like, okay, it's done. I go back, and let's just say I was recording this video as a pre-recorded video. I'm done recording it. Now I'm going to edit it. And, I'm now thinking through like, okay, now I need B-roll of Descript. Like I may want to show like what Descript looks like. And then I may want to show that clip from the comments on the YouTube video that I mentioned with that niche that I wasn't, the guy was asking whether or not it was available or not. So if I hadn't planned those ahead of time, now it's kind of like an afterthought. Like now I have to go back and like find all those things. Whereas if I planned it ahead of time, then it's already there. So when you're ready to edit, and even you can talk about it at that point too. Maybe there was something else I should have mentioned during that time, but because it wasn't planned out ahead of time, now I've forgotten about it. But maybe it was that one piece of information that you needed to actually see and hear in order to overcome a challenge that you're having or take that next step in your process or learn something new that maybe you hadn't known about before. Um, okay, cool. Yeah. If you're looking into editing your own videos, it'll be something that it should be pretty intuitive. It looks a little overwhelming at first, but there's some quick tutorials too that you can watch on Descript, and it'll help you as well. Once you see like where things are placed, then it's just like, oh, okay, this is pretty intuitive. But don't think that you have to use all the things in there because there's a lot of features. You can do a lot with Descript, but if you just want to do like basic editing and you want to leverage a tool that's going to help you do some of the work for you, it's a great tool for that. So it's one of those things that not to allow what's involved in creating videos hold you back from all of the benefits of being on YouTube, the extra exposure, how you can use your YouTube videos and embed them on your website or a sales page. You can include them in your emails. You can take a long form video and break it down into individual clips. Now, Descript has that, but it doesn't work as well as what I've seen and used on Opus Clip. Thank you. I appreciate you subscribing. Hey, Andrew, Consult a Blind Guy. Hey, it's so good to see you here. Oh my gosh. We go way back to the COVID days, don't we? So there's, just looking at the amount of time and that there's a lot of benefit in that, not focusing on, oh my gosh, it's going to be this, long process. Like, oh my gosh, I get to create something amazing that's going to continue to work for me 24/7. And that's really where the magic is. And that's where the focus should be when it comes to creating videos on YouTube. And if you're watching this, you've joined me, live, you're over 40, you're a female, it is our time. If you look on YouTube, there's a lot of um, men represented and sharing all of their knowledge and all of their expertise, which I love and I've learned from a lot of them. But we all have that same experience too. So it's our time to step into our power, show up on YouTube, and share our knowledge, our experience, our story so that others can also learn that it's okay to show up on video and share their knowledge and their experience. And then it's an easier, in fact, I shouldn't say easier, it's another way for you to attract your ideal clients so that when they're searching for what you offer, now you show up in the search results, whether it's on YouTube or Google. Yes, 100% women are just as capable. Exactly. And it's up to us to take ownership of that and do something with it, right? And we're all, like you said, we're all fully capable. We have what it takes. Now it's a matter of just stepping in and taking action. And I'm all about messy action. I was telling somebody earlier, I'm like, I need to go live at 10 a.m. my time. I've committed to that every Saturday. I was still sitting at my desk in my pajamas. Hair was still up, no makeup. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do my hair. I did put on a little bit of makeup, and then I did change my top because, who wants to see pajama tops? But it's like, just start. Like, I didn't have to get completely dressed. I didn't have to get completely done up. And it's fine, right? Take messy action. I had some notes that I wanted to go over. I've gone over all of those. I'm for the first time watching. I want to know, what is the topic of the stream? Yes. Hi. I am talking about YouTube for women over 40 and how 2025 is our time to step up and create videos and get noticed in using our knowledge and our expertise and our experiences and our stories and share them with the people who need to hear it. So, that is all that I wanted to share today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I think I've addressed them as they've come up. But if there's anything else, please leave them in the comments. If you're watching the replay, feel free to leave comments, ask questions. I check, I get notifications when they come up for the most part. Sometimes I'm like, how did that comment appear? I don't remember seeing that one. And I would be late, but I'm looking at it constantly. Small progress is still progress. One small step can make. Yes, absolutely. It takes small steps in order to make big progress. And I always like to tell people to think about something that you've started yourself. It doesn't even have to be like online related, just anything new that you've started. And when you did it, you probably didn't do it the first time and you were like an expert. We all start messy. We all start bad. If you go back and look at my first videos, if you go back and look at Mr. Beast's first videos, I counted at one point, just out of curiosity. All of his were gaming videos, so it's not really my thing, but I went back and I'm like, he wasn't on camera when he first started his videos. And I think it was like 200 videos in before he like showed himself for like, I don't know, it was probably like less than a minute. It was crazy. So anyone that you see right now where you're just like, oh, wow, Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, Jenna Kutcher, you've got all these people, Pat Flynn, you've got all these amazing people who are great on camera now. But if you go back and look at their very first one, in fact, they talk about it, how it was awful. We all start awful. And it's just part of the process. That's how we learn. We have to take action in order to understand what we're doing wrong or what we need to actually do better next time. But if you're not taking action, then you don't know what you don't know. So you have to take that first action and just learn as you go. So hopefully that's been helpful. Yep, started my business last year. Awesome. Congratulations, Andrew. That's exciting. That's awesome, Daredevil. It's all about just starting, right? Messy action. It's the best way to begin anything. That's the way we all do it. Don't wait for perfection. It doesn't exist. Just get started. You were looking like once you were a model. No, well, a little bit once in the day, but yep. Let's start. Yeah, exactly. Andrew knows. He and I met in Pat Flynn's during the COVID. What was he called? It was a live streaming. Now I'm trying to think of what it was called. I was just talking with April Roga. You probably remember her recently as well, Andrew. There was a group of us who met online and we stayed in contact and supported each other. Like at that point, actually, Pat Flynn during that time was what influenced me. You know, when I was talking earlier about how men have, I've learned from men as well. He was the one who inspired me to do a weekly live stream back then. So it was called the Marketing Stream Live. And so I was going live every, I think it was like Wednesday or something. And it seemed like once a month when the tornado alarms were being tested, it always seemed to happen because I went live at noon my time. Yeah, income stream. Thank you. Pat Flynn is awesome. He really is. He is he's amazing if you think of like all the things that he's done and invented, started. He's an example of starting messy too, and he talks about that from like after he lost his job. So it's all about just taking action, people. That's what it's about. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all for showing up live and being a part of this conversation, this discussion. I will continue to show up on Saturdays at same time until the end of the year. I'll play it by ear after that and see if I continue doing it, but I wanted to make sure I followed through with my commitment. So that is what I am doing. What kind of content I should start giving people? Really, it's all about the type of content that whoever you want to work with, and really getting to understand them. So an example would be like Mr. Beast. When he first got started, he was a gamer, and so the videos he was creating, which a lot of people do this now on YouTube. I'm not a gamer, so I don't follow them. So if I'm missing some of the details, please excuse me. But he was basically just showing a screen, and he was playing the games and showing people how to play the games. But he was also he was a gamer. Other people were gamers, so that was like his audience. For me, it's helping women over 40 get confident on camera so that they can create videos on YouTube. So I offer different programs for that. So my target audience and the type of content I would create would be videos on YouTube, but then I'm also present on the social media platforms, and I create like tips, stories. So I take my knowledge and my experiences and my stories, and I share them in a way with people who I want to work with and I want to help, so that they can relate to it. Could be in text, it could be images, it could be carousels, it could be videos, long form, short form, live streaming. It really comes down to who your target audience is and what type of content they need to receive. If they're trying to overcome a particular problem, what is that problem? And then how can you help them overcome that problem? Is it through tips? Is it through a guide? Is it through doing like a master class where they show up, you give them homework or work to do that kind of helps them take that first step in the direction that they want to go. So there's different ways that you can do that. It's really about knowing who your audience is. And thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate that. Whatever you're passionate about. Yeah, exactly. If you like doing something or something that you can share knowledge of your passion. Yeah, I think it all starts there too, because like you don't want to start, like for me, great example. I'm not a gamer. I don't have any interest in playing video games or any of that stuff. So for me to actually start a channel about video games and gaming, I would get on camera and probably look really disinterested or just be like, I don't, kind of like not really showing how interested I am in that particular topic. But I get on here and I can talk about my marketing experience, my video experiences, how I got on camera the first time and was like, scared to death, but just did it anyway. I was stuck in perfection. And it took me like, almost an entire day to create a 1 minute, 20-second video because I needed to, I felt like I needed to at the time memorize a script, but make it sound like I was like being natural, which was the most unnatural sounding video. It's still on my channel. So if you go back to the very first video, you'll hear it. But I think people would be able to tell very quickly if I were like on a gaming channel to be like, she does not sound like she's interested in being here at all. Whereas here, hopefully, you can hear it like in my voice and when I'm sharing with you, my facial expressions. Obviously I talk with my hands a lot, and I probably should have used a stand so my phone wasn't moving so much. Um, but you can hear it from people too, and you can see it in like what they're sharing, and that they're genuinely interested in helping because they've experienced it as well. Hey Brenda, joining from Detroit, love it. Thank you so much for being here. Brenda, if you guys want to be on LinkedIn, she is your go-to person for everything LinkedIn. Or if you're looking for a job, because she helps people on LinkedIn also, like make sure that their profiles are set up and that you are representing your best self for employers to find you. But she is just an amazing person overall. And she's got great information about how you can really tap into the power of LinkedIn. And we've really done a lot together. Um, and she's just an overall amazing person. So if you're on LinkedIn, or if you're thinking about going to LinkedIn, definitely connect with her and follow her. Oh, thanks, Brenda. Oh, Andrew with Consult the Blind Guys saying, hey, Brenda, too. Um, yeah, so I think you can really tell it in like how you show up on video. And that's one of the beauties of being on video, is that you can actually help people get to know, like, and trust you, right? So you're not going to show up, well, hopefully you're not going to show up unless you're like an actor and you've done all the acting and stuff that you need to, and you can show up and be like a different person. But for the most part, if you go back and look at, like Brenda, for example, if you go back and look at like any one of our videos together, or you look at any, that's a great example. So doing like a podcast episode together, we've done it in video. And if you look at either one of our videos and you were to see it like not only in the one that we're in, but in our individual videos, or if you were to meet us in person, then we're going to be the same people. You're not going to see a different version of us. This is how I show up in real life. Now, I'm an introvert too, so keep that in mind. I know Brenda is as well. So showing up as an introvert, thank you for that compliment. Showing up as an introvert, takes it's not about being shy. It's about how we use our energy. So showing up on live for video was just a mental prep. If we were to go to an in-person event, I would still be the same person, but there would be like mental prep that has to go into that, right? Because my energy is best created and used in quiet or by myself. So being in a room of people, being online, interacting with people, it takes energy in order to do that. So as an introvert, it's all about just like, how can I create this energy so I can show up as myself and, make sure that I'm staying focused on the people who need what I have to offer and sharing that with them. So, I wanted to share that too, because I know that, I've worked with introverts, and, Brenda and I have talked about that before too, about being an introvert and showing up on video, and how sometimes it's not being an introvert that people are focused on. It's more that they are shy. And that's more of a confidence part of showing up on camera, which is why I incorporate that as part of, what I do and how I help women over 40 get on camera, because I know that there's a confidence, there's some shyness there. So I want to make sure that I can help them do that too. I've been there, done that. I was the shyest kid ever. I've talked about this in my videos and in posts before, how, you looked at me and I would cry and run behind my mom. I was like that kind of shy. So if I can show up on video, if you're focused on it enough and it's something that you truly want to do, you see the benefits, you see the value, you want bigger things for yourself, for your business, for your family, YouTube is a great place to do that. And you can learn from all kinds of different people how to do it, put the pieces together, how to, start your channel. I do have a checklist that is available. If it's not in the description now, which I don't think it is, I will put it in the description, but you can just go to vickyoneil.com /checklist, and it's my getting started with YouTube checklist. It's free. I literally walk you through every step of the way. Make sure you have a Gmail account. Here's how you create your channel. Make sure that you research it. So I walk you through all the steps that you need to get up and running with YouTube. And the last thing, of course, is, publishing a video. So if that's something that you're just like, I need something like that, then I've made that available too. If it, like I said, if it's not in the description right now, I will add it. Yes, I also think, oh, thank you so much for the compliments. Um, I plead the fifth. Remember how Monopoly tone I was first starting? Oh my gosh. You know what, Andrew? We all start that way. It, if you go back and look at my first video, the reason why it took me so long, you can actually tell, like, I feel like I'm like not shouting, but talking like super loud because I felt like, I needed to talk that way. It's crazy how we sound and look at the very beginning. Do you think people from, do you block people from your YouTube channel? I do, depending on the types of comments and things that they say and do. I've actually had a couple of people recently leave comments on my pre-recorded. Well, I don't know. They might have been on my live streams. It was after the live stream ended, though. And yeah, I have blocked people for that reason as well. So we have to. And Andrew, I think we did this back in the day too. Is like we would help each other out online. We would like bring somebody else on to be like a moderator when we were going live, so that they could block, the individuals. So yes, I highly recommend doing that if it's not going to be somebody that you would typically work with. If they're, creating issues or, just being inappropriate, of course, there's no reason for that. Like and subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Remember that day? We had like 50 people. Yeah, it was crazy. People can get kind of crazy. I was actually telling somebody, just being completely, open about this too, because I don't want to make it sound like, YouTube's the only place that you need to be. Um, but if you look at the different channels, and Brenda and Andrew, you guys can help me out too here with this if you're still here. Um, the like the people are afraid to like start creating videos because they're afraid of like what people say, and they'll get haters in the comments. I've experienced more of the, inappropriate, bad behavior, whatever you want to call it on YouTube. And this goes, way back, versus like on any of the other platforms. And all of my content's public. So it's not like, on one channel, it's just private and only a certain group sees it. But always try to be professional and appropriate in video comments. Yeah, exactly. It's the best way to be. Absolutely, Brenda. Brenda's amazing on video as well. Highly recommend. Again, like you can even like subscribe to her YouTube channel since you're on YouTube right now. And she shares a lot of information over there. Plus her podcast episodes, her video podcast episodes are shared over there as well. You can learn a lot from her. I deal with them. Yep, exactly. I don't understand why some people use channels like YouTube and LinkedIn like a date. I don't either. It doesn't make any sense. Like there are specifically dating sites for that purpose. I mean, I've not given any signals indicating that that's an interest in why I'm here. So I just, people are going to be people, I guess. And we just, acknowledge the ones who are here for the right reasons, and then just ignore the ones who aren't, right? It's just all a matter. Exactly. Exactly. Um, Brenda, YouTube started as oh, it did? Andrew, you just gave me some new information today. Did not know that. Do you use any tools like TubeBuddy to help manage your YouTube channel? TubeBuddy was one. I actually still have the Chrome extension on my browser for TubeBuddy, but I typically I use more vidIQ now for that reason, or not for that reason, as an extension, Chrome extension on my. Oh my gosh, my brain's going too fast. Or Chrome extension on my browser. I also use vidIQ, the paid program, where I can look at all the analytics, and it's been amazing. And I haven't looked at TubeBuddy in a long time, Brenda. I do know that they're really good too. vidIQ recently, and I want to say within the last 2 weeks, I did a video on this recently too, about how they added because a lot of people struggle with thumbnails. So they added an AI generated AI thumbnail generator. I said those all backwards within their actual program. So it's not on the extension, but you can go into vidIQ free. You can actually do this for free, and it's crazy because it works very similar to like the AIs that you would get on other platforms. but it gives you that capability to either auto generate a thumbnail or to create a brand new one. So it's I've been here since day one of YouTube. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Andrew. Yeah, I started back in the day too, not consistently though. I think I started my channel in 2008. But so yeah, Brenda, that's what I do. I use vidIQ. They've got a lot of just a lot of like data that feeds in, and you can create content based on who you add in there, is like, who you want to watch or monitor. It does analysis on them, the data. So it's been really helpful for me as a creator. And I just really like how they present the data as well. It's very insightful. Um, and then I also follow the vidIQ channel too, which is very helpful with, oh wow, you do go way back. I think this is 2005. Dang, you probably got like one of those early numbers too. You're probably like number 5. The creators. But yeah, so I would say definitely, regardless if you're using like the YouTube analytics within YouTube itself, or if you're using TubeBuddy. I know that I still see people talking about them, and I don't know if I see more people talking about vidIQ because that's what I use, but it's been super helpful for understanding what's working and what's not working. It'll be 20 years for me. Wow, that's amazing. You have been on this platform for a while. Do you just have one channel, Andrew, or do you have multiples? So, and then also, Andrew, let me know what analytics you use. Do you just use the ones within YouTube, or are you using like TubeBuddy or vidIQ? Analytics is going to be extremely important for, getting started on YouTube. YouTube does have a really helpful, I love the analytics within YouTube though, as well. So 4 channels, about to be 5. Nice. You're all over. But it's really going to be insightful too for, when you're creating your videos. It's all about not just posting them, but it's also about looking at the thumbnail and the hook, or the thumbnail and the title, because those are going to be the first 2 things that people make a decision on whether or not they're going to move forward with actually watching your video. So is the thumbnail interesting enough that they want to say, yes, I want to look at the title? And then is the title descriptive enough that they know what they're actually going to get when they watch your video? Then when they start watching your video, it's that first, on the longer videos, it's going to be up to 30 seconds, that if you're not delivering what you had talked about in your title, they're going to leave. And so you'll typically see that in the analytics, where people typically drop off. And the first 30 seconds is normal because it may not hit home with somebody very quickly, but that's why those first 30 seconds are so important, to focus in on the hook, to get people like, hey, here's why you're here, based on the title. And you want to make sure that you're delivering on what that was that you said in the title too. So if your title's about gardening and then you start talking about AI, it's a disconnect. You're going to turn people off, and that's going to tell the algorithm not to send your video to anybody else, because what you're sharing is not intuitive, and it's not connecting the dots essentially between what you said you were going to do and what you're actually doing. I'm a one-man TV network. You are. After you publish on YouTube, do you promote the link to your networks on other social media channels, or do you rely on organic views? I do share the link on other, not necessarily the link, because all the platforms now want to keep people on their platform. So, and it may not just be like a direct share, but it might be like creating a post talking about what that video is about, using the thumbnail instead of the actual video, and then in the comments sharing the link. And that goes on LinkedIn, Facebook. I typically don't share my YouTube videos on Instagram unless I create a short form of that, and then I'll put that on Instagram and TikTok and talk about it, but then I don't link back on those 2 platforms to YouTube, because I've noticed that the views drastically decrease. All the platforms now want people to stay on that platform, including YouTube. So I advise clients now, especially when I'm doing like YouTube audits or getting their channel started, to not include their social media links in their description, and then only to include one link in their about section. Definitely don't take, you don't want to show them. I think you'll actually, because I haven't changed my template yet, and I always notice this after I've published a live, um, that in the description, all of my social media links are still there, and I need to remove those. So now this is my reminder to remove those in the default template so it doesn't show anymore. Um, but I do rely obviously mostly on organic. You can actually look at your analytics and see like what's driving the most traffic. When you're first starting your channel, it's really important to share it externally. So taking that link and putting it in a email campaign, or just an email blast, sharing it on your blog, sharing it on your social media, and directing traffic back to it. But it's just all about how you do it. Like I was saying, like create the content, use the thumbnail, and then use the link in the comments. Um, or, what we're doing mostly on all the platforms is, drop, if your video is about gardening, you could say, drop garden in the comments and I'll send you the link to the video, one of those types of things. Let's see here. Are you publishing? They throttle reach. Yeah, absolutely. They throttle. All of them do. I just quit using if this then that for cross posting. Interesting. I use this code at the end of my videos where I share YouTube links. Yes, absolutely. The confirmation for subscription. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good advice to Brenda, because that helps with, when they go to watch your YouTube channel, when they're clicking the like button, or when they open it up, right? They'll see the video, but then all of a sudden the window pops up and says, do you want to subscribe? I love that. It's a great way to increase your subscriptions too. I find SEO has done more than anything else to drive traffic organically. Yeah, and the SEO, it's all about optimizing your videos though, right? And Brenda, I know that we talked about this at one point too. Yes, it prompts, then it's, yeah, exactly. Um, the videos and the optimization is all about like your thumbnail, your title, making sure that they're optimized. It comes down to and I've talked about this before too in post, is all about your file names. So your video file name and your thumbnail file name, which that can be changed, but your video file name cannot be changed once it's uploaded. So incorporating keywords into your file name is going to be really important too as part of the SEO. So doing that, your title, your tags, your description, what you say in your video. So like I've said in this video maybe 3 or 4 times, that I work with women over 40 and help them get on YouTube. So if you're, whatever your keywords are, you need to make sure that you're saying those in your video as well, because that's going to be in the transcript and then any text on screen. So all of those are going to help with optimization and SEO. By the way, that is the link for this video that you are currently. Thank you. I appreciate that, Brenda. See, she is just awesome. I wouldn't have even thought of that, and here she did it already. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate it. Yay! Do you guys have any other questions or anything else before I let you go? I love the fact that I've had so much engagement today. Thank you so much for being here live, asking questions, engaging with me in the comments. I love this. It shows the power of showing up live, and how asking questions like in the moment and getting answers while somebody's still there too is just, it's amazing. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys showing up, spending time on your Saturday, if it's Saturday for you, being here live with me. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. Leave comments, any questions. I would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for being here live and supporting me, you guys. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. And I will see you next Saturday. Bye.